back when I was doing Alicia's World, and then remember, before I ever met Donald, he made that website for me because I sent him I know mermaid can't come home without the dogs bark, whatever, but you hear creaking and you automatically, it's just the dog out there. Anyway, Donald made that website for me before he even met me. And he put on it the songs that I had sent to him in the tape that I sent to him. And then remember, he sent me a tape in response. Anyway, you know, people wrote things on my website, of course. Lots of people, probably mostly men or whatever, men wrote nice things, and then people wrote not so nice things, of course. This one guy wrote, though, he wrote the truth. He said something like, I don't know what he said, like, nice body and pretty face or decent face or whatnot, but I can tell by your eyes you're a basket case. Yeah. Not an idiot, that one, huh? I can tell by your eyes you're a basket case. Yeah, well, nobody's telling you to have anything to do with me, are they? No. Nobody's telling you to date me. Nobody's telling you even to watch me dance or look at my website or anything. Same with now. You don't have to watch my videos. You don't have to have anything to do with me. But you can't stop me from doing anything, understand? You can't force me to go on psych meds. And you can't stop me from existing unless you're a psycho and you decide to kill me. See? You can't stop me. And this is all going to tie into the other two videos that I chose to not upload until after the fact. I wasn't going to tell you when I'm going to my mom, see my mom, simply because, you know, like I said, I don't know. If there's someone out there who could be, you know, I have problems, but there are true psychopaths out there who have no remorse and whatnot, you know, the killers or whatnot. And for all I know, there could be somebody watching me who, you know, who would want to figure out where I am or where, you know, so I just didn't want to say. I mean, there's too many mental hospitals anyway in Massachusetts, but I would just rather not have anybody know when I'm going to visit my mom that day, you know. So I simply talked about it and then just didn't upload the video. So you knew how I was feeling right beforehand. And this is right afterwards. I just got home a couple hours ago. Okay? I'm exhausted. I have no water. I had completely forgotten that I had torn this room apart looking for the umbrella this morning. I almost didn't, like, if the bus had come early like it's done before, you know, every time I vow I'm going to leave on time, and I just don't do it. Something comes up. Sometimes the things that have come up when I've been late or whatnot have been me being stuck on the toilet at the last minute, you know, shit. No pun intended, but you know what I mean? Like, I visited my mama, and she was doing much better, and Sherilyn, my own social worker, visited my mama in the hospital just last week. Just a week ago or something, you know, just like, and Cheryl said, my mom was doing much better today than even last week. My mom's supposed to apparently be released into not her own home, but into some middle thing, some middle, place you go to so they can observe you. I mean, I told Cheryl, I have to remain cynical after what I experienced for those 8 days of hell, after what I saw, after what I believed that my mom, it's more than, they haven't even investigated, whether she was having signs of dementia, suffering from some kind of dementia or whatnot. They just thinking it's mental, okay? And she's come full circle, where I told you she used to always be on, for so many years since I was just a young girl, grade school. She was on Prolixin shots, and then she was on Prolixin, and then when she was in and out of those 5 mental hospitals in just 11-month period in 09 and 10, then they had her on all kinds of stuff, and it was too much. It was Zyprexa and Depakote, and then off the Zyprexa and onto Risperidone. Zyprexa was too expensive. It was making her really heavy too, but and whatnot. And what are you doing? And Cheryl says that a lot of times older people don't need as strong a dosage. I don't know. And now apparently, they go back and forth with these psych meds. You wonder why I don't want to be on psych meds. First they say she's having a reaction to the Prolixin, can't be on Prolixin at all. Now she's only on Prolixin. I mean, it's just... And before they were saying, well, after 30 years or after 20, however many years it was, well, the Prolixin stopped working. So now she has to be on every psych med under the sun, really strong psych meds, In the end, who the fuck knows what's going to happen? I told Cheryl the truth, you know what? I don't know if I believe my mom is actually going to live in her own home with Angel again. But my mom was doing much better today. She still thinks that guy she met in the nut house last summer is going to marry her, and she's like, he's getting me a diamond ring. But you know what? If that's her fantasy, that's fine. She can have that fantasy forever. I just want to make sure she doesn't burn her house down. You know what I mean? She can exist fine. Like Cheryl says, they don't know her baseline. So to her, to them, she's way better. She's not my mom. She's not 100% herself. But even today, of course, she was way better than she was when I visited her in the other part. A month ago or whenever it was, I visited her and cried the entire time. Okay. She even asked me. She's like, because I told her I'll send her a Mother's Day card with pictures in it or whatnot. She's like, do you have that picture of you when you had the long hair, when you were like on Santa Claus's lap, and you're like, I'm like, I have every picture, Mom. It's just a matter of finding it. And if I don't have it, it's out on the internet, on my hard drive, on Flickr or whatever, and I can get it and put it on a flash drive and print it out at CVS. If you really want that picture, I will try to find it and send it to you along with other pictures and whatnot. And if you go back, I told her I took all your pictures, but if you, from the house, but if you wind up back in your own home, again, I will give you back your pictures, all of them. Of course, most of the pictures I had already sent to her. They're all my pictures, and the ones that aren't, I'm going to get them, scan them and have them, because then they're safe. They're always safe on the internet, and you can print them out, and they never can be destroyed. I don't know what's going to happen with my mother. So I took the trains today and the buses and the whatnot. Did I have thoughts about the third rail? Oh yeah. This is what I believe. Remember, I'm not going on psych meds, so there's nothing you can do about it, okay? Well, Joe believes, you can control your own mind, and he just thinks, that I should do yoga or whatnot, but I can't get into, meditation. I should meditate, and you can learn how to control your own mind with yoga and meditation, all this crap, okay? Remember, I lived here years ago, and I used to work, and I used to take the trains all the time. And I remember I used to take the trains into the clubs, too. So yeah, it gets tedious having those kinds of thoughts. What do they call them? Intrusive thoughts? I don't know. All I know is that I remember they used to be stronger in regards to, you know, the third rail thing or whatnot than a long time ago. Because I think the problem is not that, it's I think it's more my reaction to them, you know. I don't. That's what I think. I don't even know who could understand that. All I can tell you is I have a very overactive imagination. I have an advanced mind. All said I did. I had an advanced mind. You know, before you even met me, you said that on the tape. And I've always, you know, I wonder about things. I wonder about the people that commit suicide. I don't wonder about the serial killers and the psychopaths and whatnot. They've always existed. I wonder about the weird things that happen, like the woman just impulsively pushing her husband over a cliff the day after they got married, or that guy, popcorn defense guy, who just blew that guy away in the movie there, okay? Or the other guy I told you about who, for whatever reason, was upset, road rage with these people in front of him, and he started speeding up, and he tried to hit them, but they sped up, and they were calling on the police, calling 911 on the thing, right? And then he eventually went into head-on traffic on the other side at 70 miles an hour, and the car coming this way, young 20-year-old girl with a passengers, whatever, she was instantly killed. I mean, and he's dead, so this can't ask him, well, why did you head on the other side into oncoming traffic at 70 miles an hour? Why were you doing this? But you can't ask me that. Okay. That kind of shit I wonder about. And yeah, I do believe 100%. You don't have to believe. I don't really care. I believe, I mean, there can be a lot of instances where, you know, sure, psych meds can help people, but psych meds can also turn people psychotic. Psych meds can make people do bad things. They even put warning labels on the fucking psych meds, so what does that tell you? Like I said, when I was a teenager, not later, just when I first moved in, because that was when I just thought, you know, I thought he was going to show me he was going to make it all better, and he made it worse. Yeah, I used to fantasize about killing my father, but I didn't do it. You understand? I didn't do it. And how many years later, when I was in my 20s, so say 9, 10 years later, I met a guy who actually did kill his father, you know, so what were the fucking chances of that? I don't know. I don't know anything, okay? I do know this. I do know this. I'm gonna sit down and it's a fucking mess home, I'm sorry. I come home, but I was exhausted, and I don't have any water. I drink juice, and I was carrying that bag, and the idea of having the best restaurant at the store, and just I'm gonna been able to get 2 gallons of water. I'm like, even though I want to have water tomorrow, I'll go first thing and get it. I was so tired, you know. It's draining. And even how can I get my hopes up about my mom? You know, even in these last almost 3 months that she's been in and out of these mental hospitals. she can be okay, and then just a couple or so days later, she's completely done an about face. So. I don't know why he's growling. You just never know why he's growling. My roommate was home. I think Omar would know and get excited. You know, there are people that have OCD and they have to like do stuff or check stuff or whatnot like 100 times or 1,000 times. Imagine how torturous that would be. And believe it or not, psych meds, people think they're the panacea to cure all human woes. A lot of times they don't even help. There was a beautiful girl in the shelter, and a lot younger than me, and she had OCD, and she was taking psych meds, and she still had the OCD, you know. You would brush your teeth for like an hour or something, and then you destroy your mouth. You shouldn't brush your teeth for an hour. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I mean, I can check things a few times. It's pretty much just the stove. That's my thing. And I might check it more than once, but I think it's good. I even told my roommate before, you know, yeah, I'm anal about the stove, but that's good because, you know, I'm never going to leave the house with the stove on because I check it more than once, or I'm not going to go to bed with it. I check, you know. Is that minor OCD? Sure. But it's not. I can stop myself. I can just, you know, whereas they can't, and they'll check things like 100 times or more than 100, and they just can never ever stop. I don't know. I guess they eventually have to stop because they have to. I don't know what they do. To tell you the truth, I don't know. You might think, oh, why is she telling us all this? What is the point? I don't know. What is the point? What did I say in the very first video I created on Alicia Roll 1? Like 7 years ago, or 6.5 years ago, or 6, whatever it was. I said, alone breeds, 3 words, alone breeds psychosis. That was the first video I ever created, and it was, I forget what it was called, something, Alicia discusses her life and thoughts, or something, I don't know, it's on Alicia Roll 1, it's the very first video I created, alone breeds psychosis. Now, I've been dealing with it ever since. Remember, I went through absolute hell for the first 13 years of my life, okay? Hell that involved And then I went through a new kind of hell. When I lost my mother and had to move in with my estranged father, who would, sure, he visited me every once in a while, you know, as fathers often do with their kids when they're divorced or whatnot, you know, but, and I was his little princess, and, okay? I had already been through too much. I already hated myself. I was starting high school, and that's hard enough. But when you hate yourself, but then at least that one girl, Mary, reached out to me, and I had that one friend, and then we moved to Florida, 3,000 miles away from my family, my best friend. You want to know when I believe my mind snapped? If we want to say, just like that guy, what did he say? Oh, nice face, but I can tell by your eyes you're a basket case. That picture he was looking at, yeah, I can look at that picture, and if it wasn't me, yeah, I can say that girl has a few screws loose. Want to know when my mind snapped? If we want to say that it did. If we want to pinpoint it. My guess would be when we moved to Florida, I remember, away from my family, my cousins, the aunt who had, you know, was dead now, but I was very close to her back when, you know, and when we moved to Florida, 3,000 miles away from my family and my best friend, and I went an entire year and a half without any friends at all. My college roommate said she couldn't imagine going one day without friends. I went a year and a half. What do you think that does to a person? Seriously. I want to know, all you people, if you had tons of friends growing up like my college roommate did, but at least she had compassion, unlike, you know, a lot of people. She cared about me and she had compassion. She was, even though my life was totally foreign to her, okay? Or she could empathize or have compassion or whatnot. I told her I had gone a year and a half without any friends. I can't imagine that, Laura. I can't imagine going one day. Okay? So, every day I was alone, and not only was I alone, and then you're alone and you're watching all the people around you are just. But then, like I said, I had my father there to know, his all-knowing smirk and his just. And you can say, well, why didn't you make friends? What was wrong with you? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. All I know is that at that point, you just start thinking you were damned. I was born damned, and I just, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But I bet that's when my mind snapped a little bit. I once closed my eyes while I was driving my dad's car when I was like 16 or 17. Closed my eyes, baby. I remember. Briefly. I don't mean I remember I briefly closed my eyes. Alone breeds psychosis. My college roommate said she couldn't imagine going one fucking day without friends. I went a year and a half. A year and a half, people. A this was the middle of my junior year to the end, so okay, it goes without saying it. There were no proms, there were no dances, there were no anything like that, okay? My mind didn't snap my mind didn't snap instantly, my mind snapped slowly. All these things just, hypothetically speaking, if we want to say my mind has snapped, that's when it happened. And I didn't, become multiple personalities or anything like that, like when Rabbit Holes, I read that book, But my mind definitely snapped. I mean, Donald recognized it. A piece is missing, just like my song Broken, He wrote it right on my fucking website, on my EarthCam TV guest book, That's where people could write. I could only write in my news, which was just an online diary, where I wrote my present and my past. Plus I shared original poem lyrics and song lyrics and just whatever, but people could write on my guest book. Anybody could write anything on my EarthCam TV guest book. That's what it was meant for. And yeah, he wrote stuff, and he was telling, because he got to meet, Alicia in person, and, he told them, he's like, there's pieces of her missing. He's like, if it would, I don't know what he put. He put something, I have it printed out to my storage in LA, but something, it would scare you to know how much Alicia's just missing, okay? I wonder when that happened. Could it have possibly been when I spent a year and a half all alone, except for, I talked to people in school, right? And I had my dad's girlfriend and him, but so what? They were there, both of them, she was always nice to me, but they were still there to know that I was a total fucking loser, okay? I was actually going to start this by saying, I don't like Bram Stoker's, that kind of Dracula, of course, but the vampires, like Anne Rice's vampires, or, the Twilight series. No, I can't remember who wrote that, but, I take my vitamins today. I brought them with me and I put them in my purse. I may have forgotten to take them. Or whatever, the Anne Rice vampires or the Twilight series vampires. The ones who, it's not their fault, they're vampires. Just like it's not my fault I was born into dysfunction and madness, okay? It's not their fault. And they despise that part of themselves. They despise themselves because of it. But they either have to exist, or, as we learned in the Anne Rice vampires, you can, as a vampire, if you want to, you can commit suicide. It's not easy. You have to, that vampire, you have to pretty much go on fire. You have to completely set yourself on fire or something, you know what I mean? You have to just completely burn up into nothing, just like what happened to, what they did to that little vampire child, Claudia or something. I forget, Claudette, whatever it was, but an interview with a vampire or whatnot, I forget, but I read the books first, then I saw the movies. but get it? Why do you think I would relate to those vampires? Because they don't want to be the way they are, but they have no choice but to accept the way they are or commit suicide, just like any of us. There's a lot of people dead and alive, past and present, who filled with contempt. Montgomery Clift was one of them, okay? He couldn't stand the fact that he was bisexual, he couldn't, whatever, but in any case, but in the end you only have two choices. You either accept the way you are or you kill yourself, okay? So that's my take on things. But you take all this into account, and then you can understand more why I used to do what I did with the drinking and the bars and the strangers and picking men up, taking them home, going back to their place, whatnot. It was an escape. It was a way to just, I don't know, to feel normal or to, I don't even know. Like I said, deep down I may have been just trying to die the fun way, and it just didn't work. Or to tempt fate. Just tempt fate, I guess. Tempt fate to feel more alive. Right on, Mars? Am I afraid to say all this? No. I think there's more people out there who are far more fucked up than I am, who would just think they're perfectly fine. See, at least I and Joe would tell you the same damn thing, that at least I can face. I don't like it, but at least I can acknowledge it. At least I'm introspective. At least I can, If you can never even do that, then you really are damned, There could be the slightest hope for me simply because, because I don't deny the truth no matter how unpretty it might be. This world scares the fucking shit out of me. Even that stupid recent thing I was reading about. There are people that it's not real, There are eyewitness accounts to those black-eyed children. There are eyewitness accounts. Who am I to say, I don't know. But then there are eyewitness accounts to Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster. But apparently, I don't know. Joe's scared me. I said, don't do that. You go to work every day, and I'm at your house by myself. You know, not that, I mean, he lives in a real nice neighborhood and whatnot. I had nothing to worry about, and I kept the doors locked. But, you know, when, you know, he's like, whatever you do, if someone knocks at the door and you look out and there are black-eyed children, don't open the door. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he told me. I'm like, oh, fuck. Just another fucking thing to worry about. Damn demon children with black eyes who come to you, knock on your door, or ask to use your phone or something, and then they, I don't know. A thing I clicked on, I don't know if those are real pictures or they're supposed to be what they were, if they've actually, you know, they can show that, and that might not be real pictures. It might be what they say they look like, and then, you know. And yeah, this world terrifies me. Admittedly so. Terrifies me. Terrifies me. Can't deal with it. You know? Cannot deal with it. And I'm, you know, of course, going to visit my mother in this mental hospital today, even though if the visit went good, I mean, it went good in that she was, you know, she was talking and she was remembering stuff, and she brought up stuff that I would never bring up. So I said to Charlotte, like, you could see what she does. She's bringing up the money, or saying, she's like, you know, what she asked. Oh, she brought up chocolate. Oh, oh God, Mom, please don't tell Cheryl that I believe. Please, because you don't know. Remember, when you're dealing with someone like my mom, remember, when I went crazy and was telling my mom all this stuff, I told her in her confidence, and she told my enemy, she told Marion, and then Marion later, of course, ridiculed the hell out of me about it, okay? Of course. You think rock stars and that with your fat ass, please. Anyway, she brought it up today. She goes, but she was smart. I'm like, this was my proof, too, that she's, better. She's definitely better. Is she 100%? No. She still thinks she called that guy her fiance, that guy she met in the mental hospital last summer. Have you heard from him? Does he know where yeah, I told him, I emailed him, even though we've had a falling out. I have him blocked, but I can still email him and then block him again and tell him where you are, what's going on. No, he's not going to marry her. For all I know, I don't want her to, like I said, she's fragile. She could just snap in a second, so she's not better. But apparently, even if she's having this fantasy about him, she's still better enough that she can go to a respite, you know. And then they'll observe her and see if she's ready to go back to her own home, or who knows what will happen. I don't know. I can't get my hopes up, Charlotte. You have to understand. You say, oh, that's cynical. Why don't you just believe in the best? Because history has shown me that just is going to kill me more. I have to be, I'm sorry, yeah, you can call it cynicism all you want. I call it self-preservation. You know, you can call it cynicism. You're free to believe what you want about me or whatnot. But anyway, she brought up Jack Kroger. That thing, at least she had the wherewithal. She didn't say, I was like, oh God, please, Mom. She goes, so who was that rock star that, and thank God she didn't say who you believed was in love. No, she said who you had a crush on. That's right. That's right. She can say that. Cheryl had no idea what Jack. And I told my mom that that was Jack Kroger. And my mom, and then Cheryl goes something like, that's between a mother and a daughter or whatnot. You know, that if I had a crush on Jack Kroger. But she didn't tell Cheryl the truth, which was good. I mean, she didn't, and she stopped herself. But the thing is, if she was sicker, she wouldn't have stopped herself. She would have blurted out, who was that rock star you thought was in love with you or whatnot. Oh, great. You know, we're concentrating on my mom. Cheryl doesn't need to know about my bouts of insanity in the past, okay? Seriously, we're concentrating on my mom. And I had Cheryl, I'm like, please have this. They're supposed to go again and have another meeting with my mom. I'm like, please have the social worker bring a release. So if my mom goes to this respite, what if? And I told my, and my mom wants it too, but if the social worker, Cheryl's like, I can only do what I can do, Laura. I'm like, I know, but you're my only hope. If my mom goes to this respite, even if she's something, you know, she's almost 70, even if something happened regular, I don't want to call over there and be in the same situation. We don't know where she is. We can't tell you because of the HIPAA law, and then I'm back in the same situation. I need a release from my own social worker. Cheryl understands that, but she told the social worker to bring the release last time, and the social worker didn't bring it. So what will make her bring it now? I don't know. Cheryl won't promise anything, but she says she'll talk to her again. And I said, I know, I'm a broken record. She's like, yeah, Laura, I hugged Cheryl tons today. I hugged my mom tons. Her social worker in the hospital is very nice. I hugged Cheryl so much. I said, I know, Cheryl, you understand. She understands. She's like, I know, you've said it to me. I'm like, I know, but that's because I really want you to push her. It's a piece of paper. Just bring the goddamn piece of paper so my mom could sign it so this can never happen to me again where I'm shut out. You know, please. In the end, though, Cheryl can only do what she can do, and if the social worker just doesn't care to bring the piece of paper or forgets or whatnot, there's not a damn thing I can do about it. And that's frustrating. So you can call me cynical all you want, or you can call whatever. I mean, Cheryl, I would have had, I can't imagine how I'd be feeling right now if there was no Cheryl to advocate for me.